Happy New Month, my great and wonderful subscriber. Tinubu is in trouble as a whole statement on national paper surface online about what he said about Nigeria is trending online following the recent activities and proposal in National House of Assembly. Rufai Oseni of Arise TV News blows so hot and detests the action of APC and how disgruntled they are after seeing this old statement of Bola Ahmed TINUBU trending online again. So many Nigerians have now come to conclusion as to why Bola Ahmed TINUBU has been misbehaving ever since he has emerged as the president of the country. Stay till the end of this video as I will be unveiling some facts about President Bola Ahmed TINUBU and APC party in this video. My people, share this video to every social media platform so that it will get to a very last person, and if you cannot share it, like it, give it a thumbs up so that YouTube will recommend it. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to LAJUPOG TV show.
The whole of crime scene
is happening in the street again.
The center of political news, celebrity gossip, religious gossip, and happenings in the society.
Join us, the voice of Africa.
Welcome to LAJUPOG TV show, where we bring you political gist, celebrity and religious gossip. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, do well to click the red subscription button and don't forget to click the bell icon so that YouTube will notify you whenever we upload another trending gist. Tinubu is in serious trouble as he displays what actually has been happening behind the scenes in all the political parties, as APC, PDP and even Labour Party were singing a song of allegiance to President Bola Ahmed TINUBU at the National House of Assembly in Abuja, which shows it was never a slip of tongue when he said APC during the days of his campaign. He has PDP, APC and even Labour Party as his remote. This shows he even controls these three parties that are well known in the country. President Bola Ahmed TINUBU, from his old interview surfaced online where he said he doesn't believe that there can be one Nigeria. You will agree with me that this is a very sensitive statement from Bola Ahmed TINUBU, considering what has been happening in the country. Ever since he has become the president of the country, there has been this kind of unusual intolerance between the Yorubas and Igbo, most especially, which actually aggravated at the cause of the election. And now that he is the president, most houses destroyed in Lagos as to the millions of properties built on waterways are owned by the Igbos. Even his wife action attests to the same fact that the Igbos' properties in Lagos are going to be inherited by them, saying the Igbos should go back to their land. To confirm this old statement of President Bola Ahmed TINUBU, has there been one Nigeria ever since he assumed that position? Nigerian citizens have been struggling to make ends meet since he emerged as the president. Bola Ahmed TINUBU actually came to impose himself on Nigerians, as at the time he campaigned for Buhari in 2014. All he said that Buhari was going to achieve as the president, did he achieve it? Hell no. He said Buhari was going to give the citizens steady light and fuel. The most annoying part was where he said Nigerians youths are going to be gainfully employed. Where is the work to employ the Nigerian youth? Have we asked ourselves why previous administration in Nigeria, both the national and the local level, are better than the present administration? It's simply because they do not have plans to take the country to the next level. All the basic amenities that Nigerians are praying for here in this country are easily accessible in developed country outside. These are so-called leaders go out there, they see all these things, but they never have it in mind to build same thing in their country. I will play a video where Rufai of Arise TV was blowing hot, insulting Labour Party lawmakers in the house that had it been they turned out the proposal of the huge amount of money for SUV cars they were given, maybe they will have more to shut the APC members singing allegiance song instead of the national anthem in the House of Assembly. Why is it so hard to find people that are not so interested in the national treasury? I'm beginning to doubt the commitment of Labour Party in taking the country forward, because if these are the set of people Peter Obi think would work with him, I think it's all a nightmare. It takes a clean-hearted person like Peter Obi claimed to be to work with him before the country can move forward. My people, a lot is happening in this country. Stay close as I will be playing the video coupled with what Dino melaye said in Kogi State concerning just concluded election.
So distinguished colleagues and honorable members, let us at this point welcome the president, a man with track record, an alumnus of the National Assembly, to present his budget estimates. Can we give him a resounding applause?
Every well-meaning Nigerian must condemn this rendition of Tinubu's campaign tune in the National Assembly chamber. and evidence of outright totalitarianism. Dr. Abba.
I'm blowing hair this morning
Go
because,
ahead.
God help me. At first, shame on all our National Assembly members that were seated there where another song of allegiance was played. Shame. And if we truly had a country, if we truly had a republic, by now, those in their constituency should be sending them letters to show how disgruntled they are, and if possible, recalling them. It is that bad. We're losing a country with sycophancy. But it's not only Tinubu. It happened during Buhari's administration. Remember how people were wearing Buhari's insignia on their body? Now everybody's wearing his cap and all of that. What level of madness have we got into in this country? It's a whole new level of madness. What level of madness are we doing? At the hollow chamber? By playing that song, a partisan song, they desecrated the hollow chamber. And they must account for it. Let's go back history. Do you know what caused the first English Civil War? The king tried to overreach himself in the parliament and the parliamentarians kicked against it. King Charles I. It led to the emergence of Oliver Cromwell, the Lord Protector of England. The parliament is for the people of Nigeria. Parlement. The meaning of the parliament is parlement, to speak on behalf of the people. Not to do political sentiment and hypocrisy or listen to songs of allegiance posed to a certain political party. And there were some other lawmakers there, they couldn't talk. How would they be able to talk? Maybe we're telling Labour Party lawmakers, when they were part of those that collected the 160 million for cars, will they have the nerve to speak? We're telling lawmakers from other parties to discountenance that they didn't do it. But how will they be able to talk? We forget in a hurry, Oji. We forget that there are three co-equal arms of government in this country. The judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. President Tinubu is the head of one equal arm, the executive. The legislature has a head of his own arm. But we have a legislator that don't even know themselves, and they are kowtowing to the executive. They are worse than copy and paste now. They are worse than rubber. They are hype men, as Big Wig called them.
Hype men.
So shame on all of them for not understanding that they are a co-equal arm of government in this country, and they are singing an allegiance song.
Well, all right.
To the executive. You can see where we started.
Yeah, I mean, I thought.
Majesty, Excellencies, all distinguished guests, if you wouldn't mind looking towards the media bank all at one time with a big smile, I'd be very grateful. Thank you so much.
She's blocking. I'm sorry, she's blocking the president of Nigeria. Sir, she's blocking the president of Nigeria. So can she move a little bit? Thank you.
Do we all have clear
Threat to democracy in Nigeria. INEC and judiciary, the biggest threat to democracy in Nigeria. Fellow pressmen, in all thriving democracies around the world, the election management body like INEC and the judiciary are its sustaining pillars. The constitutional duty of INEC is to conduct periodic, free, fair and credible elections and declare the popular will of the people as expressed through the ballot, but at moments, election results are not written and prepared before election day. Sorry, I take that again. The constitutional duty of INEC is to conduct periodic, free, fair and credible elections and declare popular will of the people as expressed through the ballot, but at the moment, election results are now written and prepared before election day under Professor Mahmood Yakubu. The judiciary is supposed to be the last line of defense of democracy and the rule of law. But the tragedy today is that the judiciary over the years have not lived up to the expectation fully on matters of electoral justice. Worse still, it has now been captured by APC and it's now the weakest link for the subversion of democracy in Nigeria. What a disgrace and shame to the largest black race of the world. A democracy without the rule of law and a courageous judiciary as in it an inner virus that will lead to its destruction. The common saying that judiciary is the last hope of aggrieved citizens is now an empty slogan, because the judiciary is truly now the lost hope of the people of Nigeria. That is why I, Dino, melaye, will not dignify a captured judiciary that is now a department of APC by filing a petition over Kogi State governorship elections that majority of the results were pre-written before the election day by INEC officials. Under the most corrupt chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, the most pernicious, odious vermin that ever presided over election management body in Nigeria. I repeat, Mahmoud Yakubu is the most pernicious, odious vermin that ever presided over the election management body in Nigeria, INEC. Why should any responsible Nigerian go to the tribunal when APC has captured the judiciary and their members, that's APC members, openly boast at rallies about their control of a corrupt judiciary of cash and carry? Why should other political parties and Nigerians participate in future elections with the conclusion of grip and total control of INEC through the appointment of APC card-carrying members as commissioners into INEC, who will recruit ad hoc staff, APC supporters as pools officials? All recognized individuals of proven integrity from south and northern parts of this country, applauded by Nigerians for their commitment to credible elections as commissioners, have all been eased out of INEC. The way the so-called State Independent Electoral Commission, SIEC, is constituted by governors with party members and supporters is what is happening now. So that means what is happening in SIEC is exactly what is now happening with INEC at the national level. It's constituted by governors with party members and supporters is what is being replicated by this administration with INEC at the federal level. No more elections like local governments, but pure writing of results before elections as done in Kogi and Imo states. A typical example is what I will show you now. This is certified true copies. So when SDP was shouting all over the air that they need INEC and they need the tribunal to give them order for INEC to release documents to them, we got these documents last week. And they are certified true copies by INEC. This is the certified true copy of the Kogi State election on the 11th of November. This is certified true copies of the presidential election in February. What I want to do here is that we have certified true copies of all the documents, including the registered the voters register, all certified by INEC, and these documents are available with us. I want to say that voters registration ended in November last year, 2022. That means from November last year, there is no voter registration. This is certified true copy from INEC of the results of the presidential and National Assembly elections in February this year. As at that time, number of registered voters on this certified true copies showed that in Adabi local government, 114,046 registered voters. Showed that in Ajakuta local government, 84,614. Showed that in Okene local government, 140,452. That's the registered voters as at February, as imputed on this certified true copy of INEC results for the February election. But in the certified true copy for the November election, you will note that registration of voters stopped in November 2022. So what we were given in February 2023 on this certified true INEC document is what I read. But on the same INEC certified results of the 2023 November 11 governorship election, the number changed when voters registration already ended last year. On the face of this document now, for the November 11th election, you remember I said it was 114,046 for Adavi, but in this document it's now 114,663 inflated. In Ajakuta local government, for example, in February, voters registration was 84,614, while in the November election is 96,504, an increase of over 8,000. In Okehi local government, the same thing. In Okene local government, it was 140,452 in February. But in November election, Okene was inflated to 151,242, an inflated number of 110,987, and this was done in 17 local governments. So the question is, if voters registration ended November last year and the February result showed the number of registered voters as at February this year, where did the additional figures inflated in November came from? After all, there's been no voters registration since November last year. Voter registration is a ceremonial thing that parties take very seriously, politicians take very seriously. So whenever it is announced, we normally mobilize our people to go out and participate in registration. The last time such exercise took place was in November 2022. But because they have increased or allocated votes that were beyond the registered voters, so they had to up the registered voters up to justify. If not, the votes will be more than registered voters. That is the kind of corruption, fraud that INEC did. And these are certified true copies of documents from INEC showing disparity between February and November. Meanwhile, there is no voters registration. What future do we have of democracy when the judiciary is captured doing the bidding of APC, as the world is seeing happening across Nigeria, wherein judiciary is now used to upturn the people's verdict for APC in Kano, Nasarawa, Plateau, Zamfara, and many more states in the days ahead. The capture of judiciary signals citizens' possible resort to self-help, and that is dangerous for our society. That is how democracy dies, when political elites repudiate or reject the norms and values on which democracy is practiced, and the judiciary is captured and unable to do electoral justice. The Presidential Election Tribunal judgment was written in partisan stationery. The CTC of Kano gubernatorial appeal significantly differed in the whole section from verbal judgment delivered by the Court of Appeal. The 3 paragraphs of the judgment declared to be clerical errors by the Court of Appeal, surprisingly and curiously, do not have spellings error. Does it mean that clerical error do not have meaning again? Because if you say something is clerical error. And in the 3 paragraphs, no single spelling error. As the definition for clerical errors changed, we all know that it is easier to recite after taught judgments than to rewrite well-considered written judgments. And this is actually a big shame. You can see that Labour Party have no judgments. The Labour Party cried out yesterday that they were not given any judgment. They asked for judgment, and they said the judgment of the PDP will suffice. And it is laughable that in my elementary knowledge of law as a law student or a graduate of law, I know that grounds, when you make your grounds for submissions or issues that you raise in your submissions are questions, and we're taught in law that those questions for determination must be answered by the courts. But because the courts cannot, in their good consciences, or the judges or justices cannot, in their good consciences, answer those questions raised by Labour, that is why there's no judgment. What are the issues raised? One of those issues is, how did the picture of a lady appear on the server of INEC instead of posting result sheets? You posted picture. It's a question for determination, and that question has not been answered. And it is a norm, it is a practice, a convention, that questions for determinations, issues raised, must be answered. But because they don't want to answer it, and they know what the implication of answering it, there is no judgment for Labour Party. We all knew that Labour Party is a different party in that matter. PDP is a different party. And the court, throughout the sitting at the Supreme Court, did not consolidate the cases of PDP and Labour Party. And where these cases were not consolidated, how can they have the same judgment? That is one of the fundamental reasons why I would say I have lost complete confidence in the judiciary in Nigeria. Conclusion. Fellow Nigerians and gentlemen of the press, in the light of the foregoing, I, Senator Dino Melaye, have decided in good conscience not to submit myself to the judiciary that has become an instrument of political tyranny. Just as Pa Awolowo declared after the 1993 rigged elections, when asked why he refused to go to the tribunal, our sage Obafemi Awolowo said that he will not, because the judiciary is corrupt and will not do justice. I will not go to court because justice has been murdered by the judiciary in Nigeria. I repeat, I will not go to court because justice has been murdered by the judiciary in Nigeria. Finally, may I use the opportunity to call on all opposition parties in Nigeria to forthwith boycott all future elections unless and until the current INEC, constituted by APC members, is dissolved and a new set of non-partisan chairman and commissioners are appointed into INEC. Further participation by opposition parties in future pre-written election results. Further participation by opposition parties in future pre-written election results under a morally and ethically challenged Professor Mahmood Yakubu Electoral Commission amounts to giving legitimacy and credence to the continued rape of democracy in Nigeria. I hereby call on all political parties to boycott future elections in this country until Mahmood Yakubu and the corrupt commissioners of INEC are completely dissolved and a new credible INEC constituted. That is when we can have democracy. If we fail to do that, participation by political parties will mean legitimizing, endorsing, and promoting the illegality that is ongoing. So I call on all political parties to boycott future elections and allow them to run a one-party state, because our non-participation will definitely will definitely deny them the legitimacy they need to carry on. So we call on the whole world, we call on international communities, we call on NGOs, CBOs, Nigerian Bar Associations, we called on the Nigerian Medical Association, on the Nigerian Labour Congress, to save Nigeria and save democracy. Because because INEC and the judiciary, they have murdered democracy in this country. They have become appendages of APC, and results are written even before elections. The National Assembly will have to stop keeping silent in this very satanic issue. The battle to salvage our country from these economic cankerworms and financial scavengers is a battle of no retreat, no surrender. We will continue to speak. We will continue to protect our democracy by asking for the right thing to be done. We call on Mahmoud Yakubu to either voluntarily resign or INEC be dissolved in the light of the foregoing, so that credible Nigerians will take over INEC, and the judiciary must become born again before Nigerians begin to resolve into self.
My people, due to the bad influence of President Bola Ahmed TINUBU, Dino has come out on national TV to say that INEC and judiciary are the greatest problem of Nigeria presently. How will these important bodies not be the problem of Nigeria when they are all feeding from the pocket of President Bola Ahmed TINUBU and taking orders from him? Mahmoud Yakubu was appointed there as the chairman of INEC by President Bola Ahmed TINUBU, and we are expecting him not to take orders from him. As long as TINUBU is the president of this country, Nigeria will not have a credible election. Dino said, why should other party members go to the tribunal since all these bodies are occupied by corrupt people who takes order from President Bola Ahmed TINUBU? From one of the summits TINUBU visited in Dubai, from one of the videos you just watched, you could see that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed TINUBU feels so inferior, because if not that he was feeling so inferior, what would have caused him to tell the white woman that was blocking him to step aside? But just because he was feeling inferior, he couldn't talk. That's the person who calls himself Nigeria president. He goes around to embarrass himself. It's only in his country that he has mouth. His administration is more like taking Nigerians as slaves. This administration said they will be adding 5,000 naira to the minimum wage, summing up to 35,000 naira with this present hardship in the country. These are the same people that spent billions of naira on exotic cars, and they also renovated the president and the vice president's residence. They also allocated billions of naira to the office of first lady that is not even constitutional. But here we are, those that the money belongs to are suffering. How do you expect the head of your family to work for a whole month just to expect 35,000 naira in his account in this present hardship that has taken over the country? Dino has called other political party members to boycott any forthcoming election, since APC party are so much interested in running one party state throughout the country. My people, feel free to drop your opinion concerning these shenanigans coming from the APC party fueled by the President Bola Ahmed TINUBU. Make sure you share this video, share it to every social media platform, and if you cannot share it, like it, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and make sure you click the bell icon so that YouTube will notify you when we drop our next video. Bye for now.